Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. This is iMac Sports with another football video, and today I'm going to be going over my NFC East predictions for the 2023 to 2024 season. I've been doing this on the channel every single year for the last few years, and I'm very excited for this season. So this is the 5th video in the series. I will finish up the game predictions, and then once I finish all the game predictions, I will do a full season prediction video for regular season and playoffs. So this is simply me picking the games. This is not the records I necessarily think the teams will have, just which games I think each team is going to win. So let's get right into it. First off, we have the Dallas Cowboys at 12-5. I think the Cowboys could finish anywhere from 11-6 to 14-3. But for the games that I've picked, their record is 12-5. That is subject to change. So for the first week, I have them beating the Giants in New York. I think that that'll be a good game for them to have week 1, because I think that if they had that later in the season, they might lose the away game. But having it be week 1, I think that Dallas has the advantage, even though it's in New York, so I have the Cowboys winning. Week 2, I have the Cowboys beating the Jets at home. I think that the Jets could have given them a run for their money if they were the home team, but since they're the away team, I think that the Cowboys should have that one fairly locked, especially because it's only week 2, and they'll need some time for their team to develop a little bit with Aaron Rodgers. Week 3, I have them beating the Cardinals away. That game should be fairly easy for them. Week 4, I have them beating the Patriots at home. Obviously, as a Patriots fan, I think the Patriots could give them a little bit of trouble, but realistically, I think that the Dallas Cowboys should win that game. Following the Patriots game, they have the 49ers and the Chargers. Both of those are away games, and I just have them losing both of them. I think that they obviously could win either one of those games, but I think that it's a difficult task for them to have both of those games 2 weeks in a row. It's a tough stretch of the schedule. I think that they could win one of those 2 games, but I think that the other team is favored in both of them, even though I think that the odds of them going 1 and 2 are fairly decent. That means that going into the bye, they would be 3-2. Following the bye, they would be 9-3. They would win the next 8 of the next 9 games. The only loss being to the Eagles in Philadelphia. I have them splitting with the Eagles, winning in Philadelphia and losing in Philadelphia and winning at home. But the rest of their schedule over the stretch is very easy. The Rams are going to be a decent team, but it's a home game against the Rams, so I think that they should be able to win that one. The Giants also are going to be a decent team, but a home game against the Giants, they should be able to win that one. The Panthers are going to be okay, but even though it's an away game, I think that the Cowboys should be majorly favored against Carolina. Carolina is going to have a decent offense this year, but it's going to take some time for them to develop, and Dallas is just a more consistent team. And then they continue their winning streak against Washington and the Seahawks, both of those home games. The Seahawks are going to be obviously playoff contenders. But again, the Cowboys, I think, are going to have a big streak like they did last year. Last year, they were very streaky. They'd win a lot of games in a row and then lose a couple. I think that they'd probably lose one of these upset games between the Giants, the Panthers, the Commanders, and the Seahawks. But I think that they're favored in all 4 of them, even though they'll probably end up losing one of them as like a fluke game. Week 14, I have them beating the Eagles at home, splitting with them on the season. And then I have them beating both Buffalo and Miami away. Now, this is where this video gets a little weird, because I think that it's more than likely that they'll lose one of those 2 games, but because Buffalo and Miami are both very decent teams and they're both away games. But I'm really going for the home team on my predictions in these videos this year, because last year the home field advantage was really useful. But I think that this is I just have a feeling that the Cowboys are going to do really well in the AFC East this year. 4-0, maybe not, but I just think that the AFC East is going to have so much trouble in its own division that they're going to have some issues against some of the NFC teams. I think that Dallas will take advantage of that. And then week 17, I have them losing to the Lions. Another kind of weird upset. I just think the Cowboys are going to have an odd season. They've had an odd season the last couple of years. I think this one's going to continue the trend. And then last, I have them losing to Washington away the last game of the season. Next, we have the Eagles also at 12-5, but because they're only 3-3 in the division, they get the 5 seed instead of the 3 seed. I have the Eagles winning Week 1 against the Patriots. Actually, I have them starting 6-0 against the Patriots, Vikings, Buccaneers, Washington, the Rams, and the Jets. I think that their schedule works well for them at the beginning of the season because they have their home games against the 2 toughest teams, being the Vikings and Washington. Obviously, the Patriots is probably the second best team. After the Patriots and the Jets are probably better than Washington, but Washington is a divisional matchup, so it's nice to have that home game early. Week 5 and 6 against the Rams and the Jets are both away games. I think the Rams and the Jets will both be decent, and by Week 6, the Jets should find their stride. I just think that the Eagles are going to be able to win. I think that the Eagles are favored in all those games. I do have them losing away at home to the Miami Dolphins, though, in Week 7. I think that the Dolphins could have an explosive game, and I think that they rose to the challenge a lot last year in away games to get some really explosive victories. I think that the Eagles' defense is going to be tired from the really, really, really tough game against the Jets the previous week, and I think that they're going to be a little lax against the Dolphins. I also have them losing in Washington Week 8. Washington's played them well the last few years. I think that they'll probably end up splitting with all 3 of their divisional rivals this season, especially because the Giants and Washington away games are towards the end of the year. Week 9, I have them beating the Cowboys at home, and then I have them going into the bye with a 7-2 record. After the bye, I have them going 5-3, with their first loss being in Kansas City to Kansas City. I was going to pick the home team for whoever was winning this one. The Super Bowl was so good, and both of these teams are going to be phenomenal this year. So I just picked the home team, and the Chiefs happen to be the home team. 12-13, I have the Eagles beating both the Bills and the 49ers. I think that these are going to be 2 tough games in a row after the Chiefs game. And then I have them losing to the Cowboys. So I just picked the home game for these 4 games, the home team for these 4 games. It's a tough stretch of 4 games, 5 including the Week 9 Cowboys game. But I just picked the home team for each of them because I think that they'll probably end up splitting these games. Week 15, I have them beating the Seahawks in Seattle. I think that that's a game that the Seahawks could pull over them, especially if the Seahawks offense is as good this year as it was last year. The defense wasn't phenomenal last year, but with Bobby Wagner coming back, you never know if they could get back to their former glory. But I think that it should be a fairly okay win for them. And then I have them winning Week 16 and 17 at home against the Giants and the Cardinals. Those should be fairly straightforward games as they are home games, and they are better. They have decent matchups in both of them. The Cardinals are going to be one of the worst teams in the league, and the Giants are above average in the NFC, but they're still not a great team. So I think that the Eagles should be able to win both of those games, and then I have them losing in New York Week 18. Obviously, they could beat the Giants or they could beat Washington twice, but I just think it's more than likely that they'll probably split with them, as this division is one of the tightest divisions for divisional rivalries. Next, we have the Giants at 9-8, which is the 6th seed in the NFC, according to these predictions currently. I have them losing Week 1 to the Cowboys at home. Again, I think that if that was a later game in the season, then I would have had them winning, but I had them losing. I have them winning Week 2 against the Cardinals in Arizona. I think that they should be able to win that one. It'll be a tight game. Arizona's going to play their ball, but I think that the Giants should be able to come out with a victory in that one. Week 3 against the 49ers. I have them losing in San Francisco. I think that the 49ers are going to be a strong team this year, as with the last few years, and I think that the Giants are going to play them well, but in San Francisco, Week 3, I think the 49ers are going to be in stride by then. And they should be able to win that one. Week 4, I have the Giants beating the Seahawks. Also, with Trey Lance being gone, I think that they'll figure out their quarterback situation much earlier. I think Brock Purdy will just be marked as the guy, and they'll be playing pretty well. Week 4, I have them beating the Seahawks at home. This is basically another one of those games like Chiefs-Eagles, where I basically just gave it to the home team. If Seattle was home, I was going to give it to them, but since the Giants are home, they got it. Week 5, I gave it to the Dolphins over the Giants. I think that the Dolphins' offense is just more consistently explosive, and I think that they'll be able to win that one. Week 6, I have them losing to the Bills in Buffalo. Again, another game that they could potentially upset, but because it's in Buffalo, again, Buffalo and the Giants, they're both New York teams, so home field advantage doesn't mean as much. I just think Buffalo's the better team, and they're more than likely to win that game. I have them winning 2 in a row against Washington and the Jets. I just have the Jets getting demolished by the NFC East. I think that they'll both be close games, but I think that again, home field is really what I'm going off for the Giants this year. The Giants were good at home last year, and I just think that I've been going by home a lot this year, so I just kind of picked that for the Giants. They have a lot of matchups where home field really does matter. Like, a lot of their games against good teams, they're away, which just solidifies the losses, and then a lot of their games against teams that are around their level or worse just kind of solidifies the home wins. Week 9, I have them losing to the Raiders away. This is kind of a weird one. I think that they could beat the Raiders, but I was just picking the Raiders to lose too many games, and I kind of felt bad for them. So I picked the Raiders to win this one, even though I think it's more than likely the Giants could win that one as well. I have them losing to the Cowboys, Washington, and the Giants. The Cowboys and Washington 2 weeks in a row. Both of the away games, but I have them splitting with both of them. I have them splitting with Washington on the season. So yeah. I have them beating the Patriots and the Packers in home games that I think that are basically toss-ups. I think that the Patriots could beat them. I think that it's a fairly evenly matched game. But, again, home field. And then the Giants game, I just think that it'll come down to Daniel Jones versus Jordan Love. And I think that it's more likely that Daniel Jones will have a good game than Jordan Love. Not that Jordan Love is bad. I just think that it's more likely that Daniel Jones will have a good game. Just because he's been more experienced. Week 15, I believe the Giants are winning this one. I'm not sure why they're both highlighted, but I believe I have the Giants beating the Saints in New Orleans. The Saints should be decent by that point in the season, but I think the Giants should be able to find a way to win. Week 16, I have them losing to the Eagles in Philadelphia, splitting with them on the season, and then I have them winning the last 2 games against the Eagles and the Rams to secure the 6th seed in the NFC. The Rams are going to also be fighting for that 6th seed or 7th seed at this point in time, so that's going to be a crucial game. I think the Giants will win it just because I think they'll be a more consistent team this year. I think that the Rams are going to be decent. I think they'll have spots of brilliance and spots of being terrible, but they're still going to be a good team. And week 18, I have them beating the Eagles to secure that spot in the playoffs. Last but certainly not least, we have the Washington Commanders at 6-11. I was having a tough time with the Commanders this year because last year they finished 8-9, and they improved their team coming into this season. So I think that 6-11, they have the hardest schedule in the league, which is why I have them so low at 6-11. But I wanted to at least give them a respectable record. Like, when I first went through, I gave them a really bad record. I needed to help them out a little bit because they had a phenomenal year last year. I think they got better, but their schedule is just too hard. Yeah, I have them 2-7 against winning teams and 4-4 against losing teams. I have them beating the Cardinals at home week 1. I think that they should be able to win that one. I have them losing to the Broncos and Bills 2 weeks in a row. The Broncos game could be a toss-up because we don't know how good Russ is going to be early on in the season. They might need some time to adjust, so Washington could be able to pull that one. But because it's in Denver, I am picking the Broncos. Week 3, I have them losing at home to the Bills. That'll be a tough game. I think Buffalo's just going to be able to go in there and maul them. I also have them losing in Philadelphia week 4, although I do have them splitting with the Eagles. Week 5, I have them winning at home against the Bears. I think that it'll be a decent game. I think that they should be able to come away with a victory in that one. Week 6, I have them losing to Atlanta in Atlanta. That one I basically picked on home field. I think that Atlanta is also going to have a fairly decent team this year. I think that Atlanta and Washington match up against each other fairly evenly. So I just basically picked it off of home field. Week 7, I have them splitting with the Giants, so I have them losing away and winning at home. And then I have them losing to the Patriots and Seahawks in weeks 8 and weeks 9 and 10. Oh, I have them beating the Eagles in week 8 and then losing to the Patriots and the Seahawks in week 9 and 10. I think that they should win one of those 2 games between the Patriots and the Seahawks. I just think that the Patriots and Seahawks are probably favored in those games. Week 11, I have them beating the Giants at home, and then I have them losing 2 in a row before the bye. Their very late bye against the Cowboys and the Dolphins. So that would mean that they are 5-8 going into the bye, theoretically still in the playoff race if they win the next 4 games of the season, but I have them losing all 4 of them. The first game is against the Rams, the second is against the Jets. Both of those games are away games. I think that if they were home games, they would stand a chance. But they're very, very evenly matched games. and I just think that being away is going to hurt Washington. Week 17, I have them losing at home against the 49ers. So the 49ers are going to be fighting for the 1 seed at that point in time, and it's going to be, and I think that they're just a more consistent team than, and it's not a divisional game. If it was a divisional game, then I'd have Washington winning. Like I have them beating the Cowboys in Week 18. I have the Giants beating the Eagles in Week 18, because they're going to really want to play spoiler. At this point in the season, they're going to be 5-10, and they're not really going to care that much about whether or not they win or they lose. They might even prefer to lose just to get a better draft pick. So I think that 49ers are just going to be able to maul them based on circumstance. And then Week 18, they're going to want to play spoiler against the Cowboys. They'll have something to play for, and they'll play a pretty solid game to come away with the win at home in Week 18. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Again, these are just predicting every single game individually. Again, I tried to make the records seem realistic, but my records will be finalized in my playoff and Super Bowl prediction videos, not here. So once that one's out, probably in about a week from now, check it out. Other than that, see you guys all in the next one. Peace.